Yo, I'm Brendan. As a parent of young kids, teaching them about money is a big goal that I have. And what I learned about money 25 years ago is not the same thing that they need to learn today. They'll never need to learn to balance a checkbook or to look up stock prices by reading the newspaper, like I did. Plus, managing your money today is all electronic, and that means that we need to teach our kids how to use those electronic digital tools now. So today what we're going to do is explore this whole new integration that Acorns has bought. They've acquired a new company. It's all about finances for kids. So we're going to go through the features and see if it's actually worth using. This isn't sponsored. No one at Acorns knows who I am or that I'm making this video. All that's happening is you and I are investigating this together to see if the service is good and worth using. And I want to continue to make these kinds of videos for you because they're useful. How do we know what's good and worth using if we don't use every single service out there? So let me do that research for you and provide you that information. First, let's go over the top line features. So what Acorns has said is that all customers, both new and existing customers that have the highest possible subscription tier, the premium tier, that's $9 per month, will have the opportunity to open up their very own GoHenry account. GoHenry is this company, this service that they bought. And so if you are paying the most money possible with Acorns, you don't have to use it, but you can. So what is GoHenry? Well, they say that it's an app designed to help parents teach their kids and teens about money. The way that they do that is by providing actual learning material to the kids, and then also by providing the kid with a debit card so that their parents can watch and monitor and limit exactly what happens with that debit card. And so the parents' visibility and interaction with the kid should be higher than it would be if they just use a traditional bank. Why kids might care about this is they can choose from 45 different debit card designs that are apparently customizable. So your kid or your teen hopefully gets like the coolest card design that they can possibly dream of. Through the app, kids can allegedly learn in a more fun way than they would otherwise because they have award-winning videos and quizzes. And so they have these little money mission things that kids can go on to kind of get quizzed on their money knowledge. And then I think if you want to, you can like award prizes for that. I'm not totally sure on that part. You can also set up donations so the kids get used to what it means to be someone who gives their money away. So you can give to Boys and Girls Club or create like any kind of goal for a charity of your choosing, and then just get them into that like muscle memory of we don't always keep and spend all of our money. Sometimes we give some of it away. And then the very top line features for parents are that you can monitor what your kids are doing in grave detail and see how much they're spending. You can manage the kids' chores within the app. And so you can like give them a list of chores, and then I'm assuming you can even assign a dollar value to that. So they could be like working around the house for commission, which is interesting. And then you can also set up regular allowance payments. So you don't have to necessarily like get into your bank every Sunday and give them $20 or something. It can happen automatically. And before we get into all the nitty-gritty details of what's all included in GoHenry, I've also just got to remember that the $9 premium tier that I'm paying for also gets me the ability to pick my own stocks because I can do custom portfolios with Acorns. I can use their investing service. I can use their early service to invest for my kids. I can set up automatic and recurring investments. Duh, that's pretty obvious. I can actually get a will from them, which I haven't done, but I really should do. It's like a $500 value. We don't even have a will, but I should set up a will with them. And then you also get $10,000 worth of life insurance. So pretty cool. Hopefully I don't use that, but we'll see. And whenever I check out the Acorns website, it's kind of weird they don't mention this at all on there from what I can see. You know, if I'm Acorns marketing department, I would like blast it out all over the place. So we're gonna have to go for more in-depth information on GoHenry to the actual GoHenry website. Let's go now. My first big question is exactly what is being taught to our kids by interacting with this service? Because I could definitely see like a big disagreement happening between me and what the principles are that they're teaching. So I need to get really in depth and see what the heck they're telling our kids. So it says kind of vaguely that they can be quizzed, that they get rewarded for learning, that they're going to be taught money concepts, but what does that mean? And what if I disagree with the answers that they're proclaiming these kids should know? Like, what if they're telling our kids they should do certain things that we disagree with? I want to know what the curriculum is. Oh, here's an interesting thing. It says kids learn skills through videos, quizzes, and more in the app. As they unlock each mission, they'll make their way through the K through 12 personal finance education national standards, earning points and badges as they go. I've never even heard of those before. Let's check that out and see what the heck those are. Oh boy, wow. Casual 42-page PDF. Here, let me read it, skim through it, and then give you, my awesome subscriber, a quick summary. All right, fast forward 30 minutes later. So what's happened is this organization that's put this thing together has determined that A, financial education is a necessary part of what kids need to learn and grow and be successful in life. And B, they're pushing it to make it more common in schools, because even though most financial education happens at home, not all homes are able to provide it to their kids. And that's where classroom instruction really comes in. And so they've built this curriculum, they built this standard to start at a very basic level when a kid is young, and then it gets progressively more and more detailed and complex as the kids get older. So it's similar to other education standards like in math or in language or other subjects. These are those educational standards that kids should meet by age, just towards personal finance and money. That's kind of cool. And as I dove into the PDF, I saw that there's 6 main areas where they're going to be learning: earning, spending, saving, investing, managing credit, and managing risk. And then like a huge chunk of that 42-page PDF is just explaining in detail exactly what children of different age ranges would be expected to understand based on that subject, and then how they'd be tested on it. So let's say they're learning about earning income. They'd be expected to list basic things like the types of jobs you could get, or explain why employers pay their employees, estimate how much income could be earned by a business operated by children, like a lawn service or a lemonade stand, and a bunch of other things like that. So that's kind of the base level. But then a 12th grade level would be tested on the same subject of earning, but would need to know much more detailed and specific stuff. So examples of that would be research potential income and employee benefit packages that are likely to be offered to new employees by various companies, government agencies, or not-for-profit organizations. I think I've only ever done that here in the last 10 years of my life. The 12th grader will also have to explain why people should evaluate employee benefits in addition to wages and salaries when choosing between jobs and career opportunities, evaluate the costs and benefits of investing in additional education or training, and on and on. My impression of that whole standard system is that it's very in-depth, and I'm surprised that kids this age are expected to know so much. Speaking of kids, both of mine are sick right now, so if you see some boogers on my shoulders or you hear anybody crying in the background, it's because it's supposed to be nap time, but when you got stuffy noses and sore throats, it's hard to breathe. My other reaction to this is, of course, I'm jealous of the kids getting taught this. It's awesome. I had to do all my own research for the last 15 plus years to understand what I do today, and I'd have happily traded most of my other school classes growing up for a personal finance class instead. It's just so useful. Now let's go over all the rest of the features so that we can see just how comprehensive and value-adding this app really is. The first one is that you can add a co-parent to the account, so you can have multiple different people as the adult who can set boundaries, receive notifications, and manage chores together. I would hope that was a feature. That needs to be a feature. As mentioned before, you can set up allowances to happen weekly, just like a weekly transfer, so that your kids get used to that routine of like they get some money, they need to set a goal to spend it and save it well, or however you want to kind of shift that with them, but at least it's automatic. It needs to be automatic. You can set up savings goals, so parents and kids can work together and say, hey, let's make a plan to buy that big, awesome thing that you want. I like that. I think that's a worthwhile thing. Ooh, this is a good feature. Need it now transfers. This is where you can instantly send money to your child's account for field trips or lunch or whatever else that you forgot. But the fact that you can do it instantly, I think that could be nice, because never would fail. I would forget to send them with money for something, so I would use that feature. The notification system is good for spying on your kids. So you get updates whenever your child uses their card, and then you get an alert if it's declined, so you can see exactly what's happening real time, be super snoopy. I would also want that. Of course, as a feature you'd expect with any card, you can block and unblock the card, so if it's lost or stolen, or if the kid's grounded, then you could block the card from working. Obviously, you can monitor spending, track purchases, get notified when kids use the card. I would expect all that to happen in any modern day financial app or service. It's got to happen. That's a standard. You can also set certain limits on how much kids can spend, and so you can add different limitations or change that all the time. This is just yet another thing that I would expect to have as a feature between a parent and a kid financial app. You can have direct deposit set up through this. So like if your teen has a job, then they can have their paycheck sent directly to their GoHenry account using direct deposit, just like a real bank account. I think it is a real bank account. It's got these added features because there's more than one person using it and accessing it. And this was an interesting feature that I wouldn't have expected, but for your teens, they can split the check through the app, and so they can send and receive payments through the app services just like you would with Venmo or Zelle or something like that. So it gives them that kind of like future power that they're going to use whenever they're later on into life and they're adults, and so they can get used to that now. I think that's pretty cool. It's got a way to connect to a charity, specifically the Boys and Girls Club of America, to get the kid used to donating if you want to do that. It's also got a really cool feature here that I like, where relatives and friends can give directly to the card. So instead of like physically giving a kid a card with a gift card in it, instead of doing that whole deal and then you have the card and then you go do whatever, you can just set up a link, and it's free to generate a link. Then everyone who wants to give gifts can like add a personal message. They can add directly to the account, and then the kid just has the money. It's straight away. It's clean that way. I like it. And that's pretty much all the features. So if we had to sum all that up, it feels to me like the vast majority of the features of the service are really about a banking experience that's tailored for kids and parents to work together. What they've done is just added features and controls to what looks like a very traditional banking setup through a checking account so that parents can see more and have more control. It seems like that's 90+% of it, and the actual learning part is only the other 10%. And in doing research for this video, I just figured my assumption is that people who don't use this service or a service like that that's meant to kind of pair a bank account with the kid and the parent together, they must just issue their kids a debit card and be like, hey, here's your debit card. I'll keep an eye on it. Go do your thing, and maybe just give them some like verbal controls. So that's kind of a loosey-goosey way of doing it. I think going through GoHenry or some other similar account just gives you more like ironclad controls and customization. And I would think hopefully gives your kid a little bit more access to that too. So they can, if they have a phone, get into the app and go, oh, I can see what's happening too. And they can get familiar with that kind of interaction. So that in my mind, the familiarity is actually like a bonus, because I think whenever we're unfamiliar with the subject, we make worse decisions. So if in 5 or 10 years of using this, your kids get really familiar with like looking at bank balances and figuring out where they spent money and keeping track of all that, then whenever they're an adult, hopefully they're better at it and they're more proficient and they manage their money better. So now the biggest question of them all for us is it worth it? Is the price worth the value that you get? I think without actually using the service and with just checking it out and looking through everything here, I think the value is there if you want something like this, because on its own, without Acorns' involvement, GoHenry charges this kind of fee structure. They say after your free trial period, which I think is like 60 days, then it's $5 per month per child, or for families with up to 4 kids, it's $10 per month. So you're probably either paying either $5 or $10 per month, depending on how many kids you have, unless you have like a ton of kids. And so if you're already using Acorns, then just bumping up to the $9 Acorns plan just to get GoHenry and not even have any of those other premium features could be a good deal for you, and you'll save like $1 or $2 per month. Of course, that's assuming that you wanted a service like this. For me, as a parent, I look forward to talking to my kids about money. I want them to be comfortable using financial tools and apps, and so I would be looking for something along this line once my kids are old enough to actually understand what's going on with money and what money is. But by no means do I think this is like a mandatory service that all parents need to use. I'm a huge nerd, and I want lots of features and control, and I want everything that I can use with my own money to be accessible with my kids' money, and I already use Acorns, and so there's very little work for me to like set this up and just transfer it over into my family's workflow, if you will. If you're not using Acorns and you're not super interested in like that detail level of control, probably could skip it. In that case, just give them a debit card and move on. Like, it might be wise to put some limits on that card if you're just going to like toss them one of your debit cards with access to your checking account, because if you have $4,000 or $5,000 in there and they go and buy something for $2,000, it might be kind of complicated to reel that back in. So just for your own peace of mind, I would think putting some limits on there would be good, but it depends on the kid too. Maybe they won't go crazy. Maybe they will. Who knows? Hopefully you knows. Man, as I'm looking at this curriculum to see what these kids would be tested on to meet this like national finance education standard, I'm thinking, I kind of want to take this test. Like, I wonder at what grade level I would flunk out, because in theory, I feel like I would do fairly well, but also like it gets pretty specific in here. Section 12-6C says, suggest an appropriate asset allocation for a very risk-averse person versus a very risk-tolerant person, or recommend a portfolio allocation between major asset classes for a short-term goal versus a long-term goal. Like, I'm comfortable doing all of that for myself, but I'd be pretty surprised if the average person on the street could do that. Or how about this one? Describe factors that influence the prices of financial assets. Whew. If you're interested in this and you want to know more information, then I'll put some links in the description so that you can look at that 42-page PDF for yourself, see what that curriculum looks like. I'll also put a link to the GoHenry website so you can look at those features for yourself. And of course, if you want to do this and you want to sign up for Acorns for the first time, then using my affiliate link gives me like a few dollars of kickback, which helps me to make more of these videos for you, because ideally this video making thing would be a full-time job for me. It's not really looking that way, so it's kind of a fun hobby for me, but in the meantime, that really does help me out if you use my links. If you don't want to, no pressure, don't worry about it. I'm just really glad that you're here, and hopefully you learned something from this video, and you can learn something from the next video. Apparently one of the companies that helped put those national financial standards together is called Jumpstart, so today's secret comment word will be jump. If you made it to the end of the video, comment with the word jump hidden in there somewhere, and you and I will know that we made it and that we enjoyed the video, but everyone else will not understand why you're talking about jumping. and that's totally fine. If this is one of the first videos you've seen of mine, thank you so much for being here and watching all the way till the end. I think it's so awesome that you're investing in your own knowledge, you're seeking this stuff out, and I've got over 250 videos here on YouTube for you to learn from, so go ahead and go crazy and watch them all if you want. A lot of them are more review focused. There are some conceptual ones, but I also have as a further deep dive if you want to learn everything you need to know about investing from start to finish, from beginner to I have all the answers as far as how I should be investing for my life and my goals. I do have an investing class. No pressure. People seem to like it. My average instructor rating right now is 4.8 stars out of 5, and so that's some pretty good feedback. I think everyone who's taken it really enjoys it. It's about 4 hours long, so if you had a weekend where you wanted to knock it out, you totally could. I also have a cool worksheet that you can download or you can fill out digitally if you want, so that as you take the class, if you want to take notes, you can. Otherwise, you can just fill in this is the kind of account that works for me. Here's the kind of setup that I need to do, so that then if it takes you a couple weeks to get it set up, then you don't forget and you have to go back through the whole class again. So this way you have an actual takeaway of your own information, your own life applied notes that make sense for you. And so that's just a little extra value add whipped cream on the top that I wanted all my students to have. So check that out also in the description if you want to see that. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye.